They're absolutely shite and shouldn't be here. I can't believe a team full of League 2 players are better than Newcastle or Fulham. They're going straight back down for me.
No one should be surprised. 11 games without a win? To be honest, I'm surprised they're still above the relegation zone.
Nothing's changed. The club's doomed, I'm telling you. They may be fighting hard, but they really don't deserve to be.
The transfer budget? They bought a bunch of journeymen and a tourist whose Premiership visas are going to be revoked.
Hello? Yeah, that was my email. Just because we're safe from relegation doesn't mean we can't make it to Europe. Tell the boys we're training even harder. Well, the naysayers were right. We were on a downhill spiral at the start of the season. We kept losing matches, and it took a bit of transfer signings plus a change in strategy that allowed us to climb back up the table. And right now, on this show today, I'm going to start breaking that strategy down. Throughout the start of the season, I questioned myself, were the naysayers right? We lost downhill spirals, losing streaks, nothing was changing. We brought in 5 new players, stabilized the squad, and then the next thing we knew, we started winning a few matches here and there, and that's when a strategy developed. Well, the strategy basically boils down to how you prepare for a game. We have a match coming up against Leicester, and they've got a wicked 4-4-2, and it's going to be a very tough system to beat. Now, I've already covered the basics in 2 areas. One was on Addicted to my website, and I've written an article about building a squad to win, and it's also on the SI forums. Now, essentially, it boils down to choosing the right players for the right match. So essentially, it's all about basics, like your attributes and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people take these for granted, and when I started reviewing my performances, I realized I was doing the same thing. So what I'm going to do on today's show is I'm going to share with you how I actually bounced back. Exactly what did I do? And this includes setting up a squad to win. Every time you go into a match, you're actually putting your 11 players on the pitch. But before you decide your 11 players, you're going to analyze the opposition. And when you analyze the opposition, you look at scenarios where the transitions can break down and how you need to adapt. So let's find out how Leicester's 4-4-2 beat Everton. So the first thing we do, look at the match stats. Leicester-Everton, midfield possession, Leicester, very good, 41%. They spent about 8% of the time in Everton's half. Interestingly enough, when you look at their focus of attacks, it's very balanced. 25% on the left flank, 36% on the right flank. So really, we need to identify which of these flanks is a stronger flank. And for that to happen, we need to start looking at the heat map to get more ideas. Leicester's heat map tells us a lot of things. The first thing it tells us is that they're balanced in their attack, left and right. Maybe the right is more stronger than the left. More importantly, they've got a very firm grip on the final third, including the golden zone right in front of the penalty box. And this means that if I allow them to be that high up the pitch, it's going to be a major issue for us because we're going to end up giving them a lot of goals. So the next thing I have to do is I have to find out how their key pass combinations look and identify the players in the team that are causing this to happen. There has to be a player who's a playmaker, and there must be somebody who's a link player. Now, I want to identify who the link player is. This player is the one that's going to feed the ball to the playmaker. I take the link player out of the game, I take the playmaker out of the game. Looking at the key pass combinations, the most important player in this team happens to be Drinkwater. Even though Matuidi is the playmaker, Drinkwater links everybody up together. So the person I need to isolate will be Drinkwater. I cannot allow him to exert influence in the game. Drinkwater's performance in the game against Everton indicated that he's all over the pitch in terms of interceptions as well. So if I want to win this match, I'm gonna have to do something about Drinkwater. When I look at crosses from Leicester, it seems that they don't really cross a lot. One completed cross, well, okay, this gives me an idea. Maybe in our game, what I'll do is I give them the flanks, let them cross the ball. Since they don't use it that much, that means that I could probably put some defenders in the box who are taller, who have really good mentals to read the cross. That's one option. Time to look at the formation again. Now, when I look at Drinkwater, confirms he's a bit deeper. Matuidi is a bit more attacking. And then on the right flank, that's where my danger is going to be. I've got two players that look like they're more attacking. One's a fullback on attack, probably the other one is an inside cutting midfielder. And this means that they've got a heavy right-sided attack, which is supported by number 10, who's a deeper striker. So they're going to have plenty of support on the right-hand side of the pitch. And chances are that's where most of the attacks are going to come from. Now, what I need to do next is take a look at some of their PKMs. And this I go into their highlights of a match they played against Everton and then try to identify what their transitions look like. So if you recall, I spoke about an article I wrote on the SI forums about building a squad to win, and in that article I talk about a central midfielder that enters my half during a transition, and this is what I'm going to be looking for in the transitions. Here we see one of Leicester's transitions that just broke down. Number 10 just lost the ball and Everton are hoofing the ball out. You can see number 4, that's Drinkwater. See how high up the pitch he was, and look at the passing triangles that they were able to form. This confirms they have a right-sided attack. So what do? I go deeper into their transitions. I try to identify what their midfield consolidation phase looks like and what their midfield penetration phase looks like. During the consolidation phase, this is what they look like, fairly narrow. Look at the number of players on the right hand side of the pitch, quite a number too. So I'm going to have to be very wary about their consolidation phase, because if I allow them to build up play on the right, I'm in trouble. So this is what they look like in the midfield penetration phase, which is just before that killer pass goes in to create a goal. And they've unlocked the golden zone. They have moved players to the right hand side of the pitch. Everton have been dragged out of position. Look at Riyad Mahrez, he's number 10. He's got 4 players around him like a magnet. Matuidi is free to make a killer pass to number 13, and that will be enough to seal a goal. Number 20 has become a decoy on the right hand side of the flank as a fullback, and check out how Drinkwater supports this whole attack phase. Drinkwater must not be allowed to pass. So what's our plan? Very simple. We're going to use a 4-4-2 diamond. We're going to allow them the flanks because we already know that they don't like crossing so much. And we want to control both the zones. We want to control our golden zone, and we want to control their golden zone. So we want to put players there to put some pressure on the golden zones. This means that if they're going to attack us centrally, which is their preferred option, then we already have a defensive midfielder there blocking the channel. We're also going to put our fullback on defend here. This will allow us to protect this side of the flank, so he's not going to be bombing forward unnecessarily. Up front, we're going to have a very simple combination: attacking midfield on support, DLP on support, and a poacher on attack. Well, I rarely use poachers, right? And these two chaps, they're going to be put on more direct passes. I'm playing it very fluid. This means that my majority of my players are going to be on the same wavelength when it comes to their mentality. Only a few of these players, like the poacher up front on attack duty, he's going to have like a control mentality because that's the poacher, right? You can see here, that's his mentality, it's locked in. And the rest of the players, well, they're going to be ranging between counter to standard. Now, why am I using counter? Very simple. Counter mentality, the whole team is, most of the players that are going to be on this mentality, well, their transitions aren't going to be super fast. They're not going to try and get the ball up in 2 seconds. They're going to be very calculative about their passes. The whole goal here for me in this match is to start the game and assess the situation before I decide to change my mentality and my shape. LLM football, if you want to play it at the highest level and you want to really do well, you got to put in a lot of effort, and you got to do everything. Training, you got to think about training, you got to think about roles, you got to think about optimizing the training schedules, you got to think about a whole load of stuff. And yeah, before I forget, somebody asked me about training schedules as well, and one thing I do with my training schedules is I actually use something called the notebook. Now, my notebook has been set up with lots of training schedules inside them, and I had a question asked on YouTube, and one of the viewers asked me, so how do you use your notebook? Well, the notebook is fairly easy. What you do is you create a note here, put in the note, and then set yourself reminders for everything that's important. Again, for me particularly, training is really important because I like to set training schedules up on I do a focused training schedule, and that's going to be my upcoming guide to all my patrons. And I set the dates up, and I have reminders that come back in, and the reminders can occur every day, every week, every month, every 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And this is great for my training schedules which get repeated, and when I have scouting plans, and if I want to chase up players whose contracts may be expiring and I'm interested in them and I want coaches to go up. Yeah, that's what we do. Here you can see I've got review additional focus training the 1st of August. So when the August date comes in, there'll be a reminder that pops up on your, there's a scroll calendar that scrolls up. The reminders will go into your inbox and you'll be told, oh, you have a reminder, you said you wanted to do this. So that's what I love to do, and it optimizes the way I play the game so that I can focus on certain things. Because the dangerous thing here in this game is, what if you forget and then oh my god, I forgot to sign that player, why, oh shit, yeah, stuff like that. And it's really good for scouting assignments now. Check this out. Now, I'm not that big yet on scouting because we are still a small club, but eventually this knowledge of 25%, my target is 60%. And in order for me to get to 60% worldwide knowledge, I'm gonna have to have about 35 to 40 scouts. And when that happens, I've got a whole cycle of scouting going on. I've got like regional scouting, I've got specific country scouting, I do all kinds of scouting, and that's in the guide as well. So to all my patrons who have been loyal supporters of this channel, yes, a lot of work has gone into my upcoming guide, which is going to be released separately, and it's about standing at 100 pages at the moment, so it's all for you guys. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. So here we are, we're not that far off the chase. Well, we may make it to Europe. We are like we play one game extra, 4 points behind. We've got Leicester to beat next, and we can beat Leicester and get a few points. Yeah, maybe we might be able to haul them down, but first we need to get Leicester. Well, everything I do is contingent upon Leicester actually feeling the team that I want, and I've just checked the scout reports. Dry Drinkwater and Riyad Mahrez are injured, so guess what? The worst case scenario for me has just emerged. And when I look at their schedule of matches that Leicester has just played, I will find that their latest home game does not feature our friends. So Riyad Mahrez is on the right flank, and this is definitely not going to be the case because Riyad Mahrez is not playing, so their tactic might change, and I have to actually now set up for a normal 4-4-2. So they're playing a if they had Riyad Mahrez playing, I'll probably play this system, but now they might have a system that I'm not ready for, so I have to change my tactics. I have to have a third tactic ready just in case. I'll have to watch the game pan out, and then based on how they attack me down the flanks, I have to change. Sometimes you go through all those plans, you create all your homework, you've done all your homework, and guess what happens? Just before the game is about to kick off, you get the news that the players that you're trying to counter, well, they're not going to be at the game. Danny Drinkwater and Riyad Mahrez are injured. So what do I have to do? I have to quickly come up with a plan B. Now I've got to assume that the 4-4-2 might have a normal 4-4-2 that goes down the flanks, and if I play a diamond, I'm in trouble. So there's no way I'm going to use a diamond. I was playing a diamond the last couple of games, this diamond, and I was trying this out, and it worked for quite a few matches, and I can't use this right now, it's too dangerous. So I've got another option, I can use my 4-3-3, but this one doesn't control the golden zone and doesn't control my golden zone, and I've got another system like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the diamond at the start and see how this goes, and if I need to change, I'll change it. This means that my players that I pick for this match, they will have to be able to cross over into all the systems that I have set up. So they all have to be able to play in each tactic that might happen. Okay, so we're playing against a 4-4-2, so strategy is going to be simple. I'm going to put 3 men in midfield versus their 2, so that we can at least get a numerical advantage going over there. Some small changes I'm going to make. Right, this guy is going to become an advanced playmaker. In central midfield, I want both these guys to close down much more. So I'm going to adjust this guy. Because I've already got a DM in the middle, I'm just going to put as much pressure as I can onto their 2 midfielders so that I can at least make it a bit harder for them to work the ball. The whole goal here is for me, once again, now that I did all my homework earlier and the homework has gone to naught, so stuff like this happens. What are you going to do? So basically I go back to my simple strategy, which is, let's not lose the game first. Let's try and get a point, make it harder, see how this game pans out, and then if there are changes I can make during the match, then cool. If I see something that's really clear that I can take advantage of, then good. So what I'm going to do straight away out of the gate is go and take this match to them, attacking highly structured and play with a slightly deeper D-line so I don't overcompensate going forward. If I do overcompensate going forward, it's going to be a big headache and I'm going to pay the price. The game's off. So here I'm just looking at transitions. I'm just going to be paying attention to see whether or not my players can win the second ball, whether I can get the ball forward or not. And we just have to hope for the best. Because my plan just got wasted. All that hard work. Okay. Olmedo to Wells inside the box. This looks good. Donnelly inside the box. Shoots. Good save from the keeper. The 3-man against their 2, I'm hoping that that translates into midfield domination. Header cleared. Grosicki. He's brought down. We have a free kick in a dangerous area. Can he deliver one into the box? He puts it into the box and Hayem, Olmedo, Hanks again to Donnelly. This ball is ping-ponging again. Donnelly back to Hayem. Out wide. Grosicki should be offside. Well, 5 minutes in. Doesn't look too bad. But still, it's early days. We are spending more time in their half attacking than they are in ours. Oh no, they have a corner. Nowadays, whenever the AI gets like, what a save from Johnston. Every time the AI gets a corner or a throw in, I'm putting my head down. And I'm like, I want to bury it in sand. Olmedo clears that only as well as Cookie. Cookie plays it back. This is going to be another chance for them to put in a cross. Churchy clears that. Cannon to Donnelly. Yeah. In the championship, Donnelly was phenomenal. But now in the Premiership, he's average. He's really slow. So he's not exactly very fast. So I've got to think of other ways. Maybe other players I can bring into the system. Well, it's almost the end of the first half. We've done okay. I mean, I was expecting us to face the other system, and I had it all planned out. Now Leicester have obviously gone to a 4-4-2, and their 4-4-2 is, I mean, they obviously are playing a 4-4-2. What am I saying? They actually changed mentality to more attacking. Rosicky into space. Wells, he can't get to that. He's not that fast. They play it back. Killerich. Joe Hanks again. He couldn't release Wells. The ball goes back to Cookie. How well do my players come back? One of the reasons why I was playing highly structured is because when it comes to transitions, you're gonna have those guys on defend duties. They're gonna be back defending, right? And if your mentality attacking encourages your transitions to be faster. So I'm just hoping that I don't overcommit the number of people in a transition, which will happen when you use fluid and very fluid shapes. Wells is brought down, does well to hold up the ball, gives the ball back to Hayem, hangs again, out wide. Donnelly can't get to that. If he was just one attribute faster. Well, Leicester have gone into a 4-3-3. I'm not built to defend against a fast 4-3-3, so I'm going to have to try and shore up my backline, play with a bit more guys at the back, and try and leave just a few forward for the counter attacks. Sometimes, you make these plans in the game and they don't come out the way you want them to, and then you have to improvise on the fly. And this is just one example of what I had to do. And I use a very simple rule in this transitions, which is numerical advantage in midfield. They had a numerical, if they played a 4-4-2, then I put 3 in midfield and hope that would be enough, and it worked for a large period of time. Unfortunately for us, we didn't have the ability, or the players rather, to go out and win the game. At least I'm hoping that we can walk away from this match with a point. Throw to Gilchrist, or whatever his name is, to get the ball into the box. Clears it. Cannon reads it. Cannon has had a very good game, and that's it. Yeah, the game comes to an end. Leicester 0, Gloucester City 0. It's not a bad result, actually. I mean, here I was at the start of the season. Whenever I go for an away match, I'm conceding 3 points. That's my attitude. Now, on the other hand, we've actually turned things around. We're now still in 9th position. We haven't been able to pull Leicester into the mix and swap positions with them. We're still not too far away from Europe, but we still have a lot to do to get into that position. But what all said and done, we've done fantastically well this season, and we've already gotten ourselves out of the relegation zone and into mid-table. Sometimes I like to keep things simple. Here, we were playing against a 4-2-3-1, so I went into the old logic, which is put 3 in midfield versus their 2. In defense, I've got 3 against their possibly 3 as well. So I have numerical advantage attacking them. Defensively, well, I can only hope that we do well. We play with a control mentality, and we begin the match. Well, wasn't a bad performance. Look, McNulty, one of the things I haven't been playing for the whole season. Our last game, he wasn't performing very well, so I called on McNulty to show up. And McNulty, he's a hardworking striker. And this showed, I mean, there was a mistake made by Umtiti at the back. McNulty picks up on the ball and then strikes it first time, beats the keeper, sends me into a frenzy. I almost run around the house screaming his name. Colado with a free kick, plays it out to Almeida. So for this match, this 4-3-1-2, I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to go back to basics, right? 3 men in midfield. I put in the 3 hard-working players who I know are going to tackle, and I stick Joe Hanks up as the AMC. This means I literally have 4 now who are in a position to create problems for their midfield attack, and we do a pretty good job of nullifying some of the attack that they do via the flanks. Almeida with the ball back quickly to Donnelly. You can see how quickly now the boys are playing the transitions. Now the transitions here, they're moving very fast. And one of the reasons why the transitions are moving very fast is because I'm not playing on counter, I'm playing on control. So the boys, when they do their transitions, they're moving across the pitch very, very quickly. And they move the ball quickly from defense, attack. Hanks, playing as the AMC, is a lot better at holding up the ball and threading passes, and he creates another goal for McNulty, who makes it 2. Unfortunately for me, I decide, well, to defend, and Spurs decide, well, we'll score, and they do it off a corner. Now, whenever the AI scores from corners, I don't get upset. I mean, especially if it's a good corner like this. Dyer to the back post, Kane just nodding it home. I mean, well, you know, we're gonna lose sometimes, and if the AI scores from corners and throw-ins and stuff like that, you know, it's not because I didn't play well, it's just that the AI played better. Here, Mamija played it to Donnelly. We actually went back to playing on control again, and once more McNulty almost giving us, restoring our 2-goal advantage. We're still playing a control, fluid shape at this point in time. We launch an attack, quite a few of our players are up supporting the transition. I'm still maybe a bit naive, and Spurs actually attack me at speed. They get the ball up. You can see how quickly those boys are coming up into the pitch, and they manage to restore parity. Barely 5 minutes at the start of the second half. At this point in time, I'm like going, oh no, not again. You know, you take the 2-1 lead before your team can settle into a match. The next thing you know, your 2-0 start has gone from 2-1 to 2-2, and you're thinking to yourself, that's it, game over. And what do? I don't change. We're still playing control. We'll still play fluid. My boys go up. Long kick from the keeper. We win the second ball. Donnelly plays it into Almeida. Almeida drags players around. Here we are trying to unlock them. A brilliant pass by Britkert finds McNulty inside the box. It's 3-2. McNulty has been on the bench for a long time, so one of the things I like to do is, if I find that one of my strikers is not having a good day, then I'll bring on a player who I think might be able to play in his place instead. Umtiti with the throw to Luan. Now Gloucester City 3-2 ahead, and from a throw-in, yes, the pain was there. I don't believe the LLM sides should play unstructured or any, you know, there's a rule that says that you can't play it because these guys are LLM. They shouldn't be playing on fluid because they're very fluid. No, just watch this. Okay, we play the back from the ball from the back. Almeida picks it up, gets it to Burkett, hangs as the ball, plays it in. They still can't get through. They defend the ball. We are fighting for the second ball. Once again, Spurs goes down the flank. The boys defend brilliantly, and where's the problem that they have playing very fluid at the moment? I don't see it. Okay, they cross the ball in. Johnston is at the box. Here, what's more important is how many people do you have back playing on support. The long goal kick up again. Second ball, we win the ball into space by Almeida for McNulty. McNulty looks at the goal and he says, "Thank you very much, Gloucester 4, Spurs 3. This is our greatest match since we got promoted. We have just beaten one of the best clubs in England, and we have beaten them by a score of 4-3. Not only that, but one of our players has scored 4 goals in one match. It was such a game. We played well, and I was like, I don't know what to say. Well, at the end of the day, this was a great match for us. Every now and then, you're gonna end up in a game where you may have planned everything, and I did. If that happens in your game, then the best thing you can do is do something really basic. If you're one of those underdog sides, if you're one of the top sides, then it really doesn't matter. You know, you're just gonna go out there and hammer them anyway. At the start of the show, I did a whole I spent about 8 minutes talking about transitions, how I go about preparing for games, and I hope you find that useful. It's going to be part of my guide that I release to all my patrons, so if you want to ask me any questions, please look me on my Twitter at busternet or addicted2fm.com, my website. I hope to hear from you guys soon. And once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued generosity in keeping this channel open. You guys take care, have a good one. Bye bye.